If you've been following the Ravens closely, you know there's always so much going on behind the scenes. And this offseason has been no different recently. A lot of talk has been swirling around the relationship between Lamar Jackson and the coaching staff, particularly regarding John Harbaugh and Todd Monken, but from what we're seeing, the narrative of tension or drama seems to be far more exaggerated than reality. Listening to Todd Monken speak openly in his recent interview was refreshing, because it gave fans a chance to hear unfiltered insight straight from someone deeply involved in the team. He was candid, thoughtful, and willing to own his role without deflecting blame, which is not something we hear every day in professional football. Todd made it very clear that at no point was there any real friction between himself and Lamar Jackson, and he emphasized that the relationship between Lamar and Coach Harbaugh was consistently positive. The media often jumps to conclusions, but when you hear directly from the individuals involved, it becomes apparent that a lot of the rumors are simply that, rumors. Sure, there might have been a minor disagreement here or there about a play, or an adjustment during a game, but that is normal in any high-level football environment. Todd admitted that things could have gone better in some respects, showing humility and self-awareness. But he also reinforced that overall, the professional relationships were strong and grounded in respect. One of the most striking parts of the interview was Todd's willingness to take full accountability for the team's performance and his own role in it. He repeatedly stated that he felt he could have coached Lamar better, and that he didn't always execute the strategies needed to maximize wins. Hearing a coach openly acknowledge shortcomings without pointing fingers at players is incredibly rare in the NFL. It speaks volumes about his character and leadership approach. He recognized that success in football is a team effort, and he consistently framed his observations around shared responsibility. That level of transparency is not only admirable, but also gives fans a clearer understanding of the dynamics within the Ravens organization. Another interesting aspect Todd touched on was the influence of injuries on Lamar Jackson's season. He highlighted that certain injuries may have limited Lamar's ability to perform at his absolute best, which is often overlooked in broader media coverage. By addressing this, Todd provided context to the challenges the team faced, acknowledging that external factors sometimes play as big a role as coaching or strategy. He also reinforced the idea that even when things do not go perfectly, it's critical to maintain perspective and focus on what can be learned from the experience. This approach, focused on reflection and growth rather than blame, sets an example for players and coaches alike. Throughout the interview, it became clear that Todd Monken has a deep respect and admiration for Lamar Jackson. He frequently mentioned Lamar by name and spoke about the quarterback's professionalism, work ethic, and talent, far from any supposed animosity. Todd emphasized that he was grateful for the opportunity to work with Lamar, and that their shared goal of winning a Super Bowl was always the guiding principle. This kind of acknowledgement not only reinforces the idea that there was no underlying tension, but also shows the mutual respect that exists between coach and player, which is essential for a high-performing team environment. It was also remarkable how Todd handled questions about his own future and the transition within the Ravens organization. He was clear that he is no longer the offensive coordinator, yet he spoke with gratitude and optimism about his time in Baltimore. His reflections painted a picture of a professional who appreciates the journey, values the experience, and remains committed to his own growth in the sport. He acknowledged the highs and lows, celebrated the successes, and took responsibility for the setbacks, all without any bitterness. It's rare to see such a balanced and introspective perspective, especially from someone in the NFL where media narratives often distort reality. The interview also provided insight into the leadership culture within the Ravens. Todd's approach contrasts sharply with the stereotype of coaches deflecting responsibility or publicly criticizing players. By consistently taking accountability and emphasizing collective effort, Todd sets a tone that encourages players to do the same. He noted that while there are always challenges and differing perspectives in a football season, maintaining a culture of respect, transparency, and mutual responsibility is what ultimately drives success. That mindset is a significant part of why Lamar Jackson has been able to thrive in Baltimore, and why the offensive unit as a whole was able to produce remarkable results despite obstacles. One of the things that stood out the most was how Todd described the relationship with John Harbaugh and the broader coaching staff. He made it clear that the staff functioned with cohesion and professionalism, even in the midst of a transitional year. The narrative that there was any division or discord within the organization doesn't hold up. When you hear Todd's account, he highlighted that the decision to move on from certain staff members, including himself, was part of the natural evolution of the team, rather than the result of interpersonal conflict. That perspective is valuable because it reminds fans that change in professional sports is often strategic rather than personal. Throughout the interview, Todd repeatedly returned to one central theme: accountability. He talked about the importance of owning your role, acknowledging mistakes, and striving to improve. This approach extended not just to himself, but to players as well, emphasizing the need for everyone in the organization to reflect on their contributions. It was particularly impressive to see him maintain this stance, even when discussing difficult moments from the season. By doing so, Todd modeled the kind of leadership that not only addresses the immediate challenges, but also lays the groundwork for long-term development, both for himself and for the players he has worked with. Finally, the way Todd reflected on his time in Baltimore showed genuine respect for the organization and the fan base. He expressed gratitude for the opportunity to coach in the NFL, to work with a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber, and to be part of a team culture that values professionalism and commitment. He acknowledged the successes, recognized the areas for improvement, and did so in a way that felt honest and heartfelt. Listening to that kind of reflection is a reminder of how complex and nuanced the world of professional football is, and it gives fans a deeper appreciation for the work and dedication behind the scenes. Moving forward from his time in Baltimore, Todd Monken made it very clear that he is focused on the next chapter of his career while still holding a deep respect for the Ravens organization. He reflected on the reality of coaching in the NFL, noting that change is inevitable and often necessary for growth both for teams and for individuals. Todd spoke about his desire to continue building his career, whether as a head coach or an offensive coordinator, and his determination to take everything he has learned in Baltimore into the next opportunity. His approach is both humble and ambitious, acknowledging what went well while remaining determined to improve and evolve as a leader. One of the most compelling aspects of his reflections was how he spoke about his accountability, not just as a coach, but as a mentor and leader to his players. He highlighted that part of being a coach is recognizing that your influence extends beyond the X's and O's. It's about fostering an environment where players can grow, adapt, and reach their full potential. Todd emphasized that he always tries to approach challenges with transparency and integrity, showing players that owning mistakes and learning from them is a key part of success. This is particularly important in an organization like the Ravens, where the expectations are high and the spotlight is always intense. Throughout the interview, Todd also discussed the dynamic nature of football and how every season presents a unique set of challenges. He acknowledged that the past year had its frustrations, from injuries to unexpected game outcomes, but he framed these as opportunities to learn rather than reasons to dwell on setbacks. His perspective highlights a critical aspect of professional sports: success is rarely linear, and resilience comes from understanding the ebbs and flows of a season. Todd's emphasis on reflection and learning is something that resonates not only with players, but with fans who want to understand the game beyond just the scoreboard. Todd was candid when discussing the complexity of working with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. He praised Lamar's professionalism, his work ethic, and his ability to adapt to different situations on the field. Todd made it clear that any minor disagreements or adjustments were purely part of the natural process of coaching at the highest level, and there was never any lasting tension. He reiterated that he holds Lamar in high regard, emphasizing that the quarterback's contributions were central to the team's success. Hearing a coach acknowledge a player's talent and leadership so openly reinforces the respect and trust that exists within the organization, and it dispels much of the speculation that often circulates in media narratives. Another important point Todd touched on was how he navigated the balance between innovation and tradition within the Ravens' offense. He spoke about the challenges of adapting the playbook to fit the strengths of the roster, while also maintaining the identity of the team. This required a combination of strategic thinking, flexibility, and an ability to empower players like Lamar to make decisions on the field. Todd's focus on collaboration and adaptability not only contributed to the team's achievements, but also set a standard for how coaching should operate at the NFL level. His reflections show that leadership is as much about guiding people as it is about calling plays, and that thoughtful communication can have a profound impact on a team's performance. Throughout the conversation, Todd repeatedly emphasized gratitude. he expressed deep appreciation for his time in Baltimore. The relationships he built and the experiences he gained, he acknowledged the highs, like memorable victories and record-setting performances, as well as the lows, including close losses and the challenges of managing injuries, yet his tone remained positive and forward-looking. He made it clear that stepping away from the Ravens was not motivated by frustration or resentment, but rather by the natural progression of professional sports. This mindset is a testament to his character and professionalism, and it paints a picture of a coach who values learning and growth above all else. Todd also offered insights into the broader culture of the NFL and the realities of coaching in such a high-pressure environment. He discussed the expectations placed on coordinators and head coaches, the constant scrutiny from media and fans, and the necessity of maintaining focus amidst speculation. What stands out in Todd's comments is his emphasis on integrity and consistency. He doesn't shy away from admitting mistakes, but he also doesn't let outside noise dictate his perspective or approach. This balance of self-reflection and confidence is rare and demonstrates why Todd has been so effective in his role. A recurring theme throughout the interview was Todd's belief in the importance of preparation and adaptability. He spoke about the countless hours spent analyzing opponents, adjusting strategies, and refining player performance, emphasizing that success on the field is built on meticulous planning and execution, but he also highlighted the importance of flexibility, knowing when to deviate from the plan, when to trust players' instincts, and how to make real-time decisions that can change the course of a game. Todd's philosophy underscores that coaching is both an art and a science, and his ability to balance these elements has been a defining feature of his career. Todd also reflected on the significance of legacy and impact. While he will move on from Baltimore, he hopes that the lessons he has imparted to players, particularly younger ones, will carry forward. He discussed the value of accountability, communication, and resilience as lessons that transcend any single season. Todd's emphasis on these principles highlights his commitment not just to wins and losses, but to shaping the professional and personal growth of those around him. His approach demonstrates that the best coaches leave an imprint that extends far beyond the field. He did not shy away from acknowledging the challenges of leaving a team mid-transition. Todd explained that change can be difficult, but it is often necessary for both the organization and the individual. He emphasized that while parting ways is never easy, it creates opportunities for growth, fresh perspectives, and new leadership structures. Todd's reflections on this point provide a rare, behind-the-scenes look at the emotional and strategic considerations involved in major coaching changes, offering fans a perspective they rarely get from press conferences or media reports. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens, and hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. A shocking buzz is rippling through the NFL world as whispers circulate about one of the league's most dynamic defensive talents potentially landing in Baltimore. Micah Parsons, the rising star whose name has been synonymous with relentless pressure and jaw-dropping athleticism, is reportedly poised to join the Ravens' defensive corps. Sources close to the matter suggest that the move, if it comes to fruition, could immediately reshape the identity of Baltimore's defense. Parsons, known for his uncanny ability to disrupt quarterbacks and wreak havoc in the backfield, has been a game-changer wherever he has played. His blend of speed, strength, and football IQ makes him not just a pass rusher, but a versatile weapon capable of influencing every snap. For the Ravens, who have long prided themselves on aggressive, hard-hitting defense, adding a player of Parsons' caliber could mark the beginning of a new era. Insiders hint that the Ravens see Parsons as more than just a star on the field. They envision him as a vocal leader, a cornerstone around which the defensive scheme can be built. With his knack for reading offenses and making instinctive plays, Parsons could instantly command the respect of teammates and opponents alike, turning Baltimore into an even more feared defensive force. The speculation alone has sparked feverish debate among fans and analysts, with some predicting that his presence could elevate the Ravens' defense into the upper echelon of the league. While nothing has been confirmed, the mere possibility of Parsons donning purple and black has ignited the imagination of the Ravens faithful. From locker room dynamics to game day strategies, the ripple effect of such an acquisition would be enormous. Could Parsons' arrival redefine the team's defensive identity? Could he become the ultimate leader in a unit that has consistently battled for dominance? The rumors continue to swirl, and if true, this would be one of the most audacious and talked about moves in recent NFL memory. For now, all that fans can do is speculate and hope. Parsons in Baltimore could be the spark that ignites a defense already hungry for greatness. And the league is watching closely, waiting for confirmation that this rumor is more than just talk. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.